We the Fans is the #1 sponsor in battle rap. My name is Frank White, and I probably contributed to some of your favorite battles. I mean, in the last 4 years, I donated $222,000 to battle rap for the culture. Check out We the Fans Global on Instagram for the full catalog of battles I sponsor. And follow We the Fans Global on YouTube to watch full battle breakdowns from a sponsor's perspective and a recommendation for what battles should be booked next. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and keep stepping into your greatness. We the Fans is for the culture.
We are here. Gentlemen, I have Chris Tex, one half of the incredible duo of battle rap royalty, the greatest group to ever live in battle rap, and that's above gun titles. We also have Noxx, and we have Legituhmutt, two incredible talents in battle rap who just had an incredible battle. That was Cold War 8, if I'm not mistaken, on High Tide. So we're going to discuss the battle. Everybody's going to give their point of view. I'm very hyped to do this. This is the post-battle breakdown. I appreciate everybody pulling up to get this done. Enough of the pleasantries. Let's get toxic. So we're going to talk about round one and the quotables. I'm going to say a couple quotables. Chris, I don't know if you have some, you can give them too. I'm going to do this because this is my thing. And what I have for quotables for round one is in my notes. Okay, so Noxx, you said tracking the steps like a Fitbit, knew it was legit by the tag StockX, bullet a 7.62 minute bow. You gonna die trying to be gangster and cops still gonna have to prove you legit. Jennifer Lopez legit ass. That is poetry, brother. That line is poetry. I think we all know why. No need to explain. After they put Mutt down, John Wick, you had a whole bunch of other stuff that was great, but those first few stuck out to me the most. Legit, you only had a couple quotables here. I counted about 45. It's AI art. You've been given a bad image that's worse than it looks. You got a little name, but I am not a human being like Dwayne Carter. I caught a wave like a surfboard, and you're about to crash out from your current position at the right place at the right time. Perfect attendance. At this point, you had to bring the bars back a little bit. Like a balloon release, I've blown up every time to rise to the occasion. Pause. One verse in Jesus wept, John 11:35. Amazing. When you failed with school, no wonder you're on the same team as Dropout. Very, very personal. I also dropped out of school, so that hit home. I'm the voice of the people like a schizophrenic, and you don't really know who you're talking to. Someone I love very much is a schizophrenic, so I knew exactly what you was talking about. So first round quotables. We'll get into them in a minute. Chris, the floor is yours.
Yep. So I'll start with Noxx. You have a lot of the ones that I wrote down, so I'll skip over those. So it might seem a lot shorter. I loved Awake Later This Evening, Night Owl. That was crazy. I love the whole setup to the get to the punch right now. That shit was fire. The John Wick, you said, King of the Hooks, Nate Dogg. Noxx, you're way too young. You way too
why
young.
do you even know that?
He is the king of the hooks.
Yeah, rest in peace, Nate Dogg, no question. But why do you know that?
For sure, but I was like, wow, Noxx is way too young for that reference, but that was fire.
Yeah.
Mutt, I'll go to the ones again that he didn't say. First, the rhyme patterns are always crazy, Mutt.
Insane.
Time. I love the whole the chessboard, L's, Knights, merging with the rook. That whole thing was fire. Big chess fan. I'm not a human being. I know you mentioned that Dwayne Carter. Noxx had the Lil Wayne shirt on. I'm guessing that was just a coincidence. Like, and then
it was a little bit.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Okay, I would have lied right there, but salute to you, legit, for telling the truth.
Bat out of nowhere, like Commish Gordon's office. Crazy. Yep. The schizophrenic, you brought that up. And the whole shit against either Dropout, I wrote down a lot of stuff. I loved all that.
Agreed. So, gentlemen, are there any quotables when y'all each heard each other rapping, or that you put out yourselves that were your favorites? You can go to Noxx first, and then legit.
My favorite, honestly, from that, his whole first was for me was his best. And honestly, like if I a certain quotable off bat, there was a lot. I like probably the Commissioner Gordon.
Crazy.
That was honestly, that might have been my favorite bar from him and maybe the whole battle. That was a really cool idea, and I like how he went with the long setups and then he had that quick punch out of nowhere. So I think that was my favorite. But his first in general was really just my favorite shit from him. Like that was I feel like the round that I was really had to fight the most.
I respect that. Legit. Any favorite lines from him or for yourself that you enjoyed the most, and what was your impression of his first?
Yeah, so Noxx's first, man. I mean, it was riddled with bars. Y'all pretty much like mentioned all of them to an extent, but yeah, man, I think that one of my favorite quotables, like personally for myself, was the Lil Wayne shit, because I wrote that for like 2 other battles, and then just so happened to stand in front of one Noxx that had a fucking Lil Wayne shirt on, and I used it for that battle. So like that worked in my favor really fucking well. But yeah, salute to y'all, man. I appreciate this.
That's so fire. Okay, so while we're still here discussing the first, I'm gonna go clockwise. Noxx, who got the first?
I think honestly, like, and this is what I was gonna say in general about the battle, like it really comes down to it's really just a style thing, because we were just so different and our bars are so different that it's like it really comes down to who like the style of rapping more. I feel like I have a good way of making my punches really memorable. So at times, like I feel like he might have had a higher punch count, more reactions in the first, but I feel like I might have had maybe some more memorable bars. So it really comes down to opinion there. Like, but that round would be a round that I would be leaning towards him if I had to, be fair to myself.
If I put this virtual gun to your head, you basically say he won the first. I respect it. Yeah, watch out. Legit, how you call the first, brother?
Yeah, personally, yeah, I loved Noxx's pacing. He had some great moments in his first. I just think that within like the first kind of 45 seconds to a minute, like I had already kind of built more momentum than he had at that point in his round. And I did have to run it back. I kind of like misplaced a fucking scheme in the middle of that, which, that did happen. But beyond that, other than that kind of like hindering momentum for a split second, I still picked it up. I still had it where it needed to be every other bar. And it's not really noticeable to a casual, but it's noticeable to the ones like us that are really going to sit here and break down each moment. If I had to merit that against myself, I still think I won the first, to be fair.
Okay.
That's really another thing that it comes down to is how much you if you would take any points off from him for stumbles, it really comes down to how you view like battles in general. So I think it's like really just a lot of this battle I think is just really debatable. Like you know what I mean? Or like depending on the opinion of who's watching.
It's so good you said how harshly you critique things like that, because we have the person who critiques breaths, deep breaths, skips, and all that. So Chris, don't hold back. We're all friends here. What are we doing with the little run it back? It was clean though. The run, to his credit, the run back was very clean.
And honestly, that matters a lot. Like I talked to Mutt directly after the battle, and and I told him I felt like live watching it on the first go around, that stumble where he brought it back, it felt like he brought it back so far. But I just watched it again on the rewatch. It really wasn't that. I think I critique so harsh, but it really wasn't that far. It wasn't that
and
far back.
It was so cleanly done, And it was clean. And that's what matters the most.
He had the battle rap IQ to bring it back to a point he was comfortable with, and then got it through smooth the entire way. So I'm not gonna lie. On first watch, I definitely, I faulted him for that. But on the second watch, the round was just too good to fault him for that.
So he gets the first.
I think both of them had a really good first. I have quotables here from the whole thing, but I do have Mutt winning the first round. And I agree with Noxx said too. A lot of it is style preference. They're two completely different styles of rapping in general. Both of them are punching, but it's a completely different style. But
Agreed.
I just I gave the first to Mutt.
Agreed. Well, we're not going to agree on much, but I'm glad that we agreed on the first round. Salute to everybody for being on the same page about that. This is where it gets tricky, and I do think this is the big momentum shifter. I do think how you call this second kind of determines how you call the battle. But with that said, I do want to highlight just one bar. I wasn't going to do quotables for a second, but I'm going to do one from each of you. Noxx, you said if this was the early 2000s, you'd be the GOAT. Very funny. Very funny. I was dying laughing. And also, Legituhmutt said, you really put the AR in scaring the bitch. Gentlemen, phenomenal job on the comedy. Both those bars had me dying laughing. But with that said, as far as the second goes, I would say approach is everything. We did get legit mimicking Noxx, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I don't fuck that up. Yeah,
you
did a Noxx impression.
Yeah.
And then also, if you look at the shift in the style in which Noxx is rapping in a second, he gets real back-to-back punching. Like, it just shifts. And it creates the impression in the mind that he's matching the density of Legit's material because of how back-to-back his punching is. So I thought it was very high battle IQ to switch up the flow, because the first, it seemed a little bit different. And correct me if I'm wrong in anything I'm saying, Noxx. But so the second, I want to talk about y'all approaches, and then of course anything anybody else wants to add, and who they got winning the second. We'll get to that after. But let's just talk about approaches. So I'm gonna start with Legituhmutt this time.
All right, yeah. So my approach, or like versus his, or like
yours, just your approach, and if you want, what your impression was of his second.
So like my approach for this one was honestly to shift my momentum personally, to shift the energy and to make it like kind of a little more humor based. I still had the bars in there, I still had the schemes, the things that people fuck with me the most for, but it was to kind of add humor to like kind of negate a lot of what he does with the back-to-back punching, because at times like it can look like that's very effective, it can look like people are really reacting to that, and they are, but it can also look like it's just kind of being taken a little too seriously. So like to take a step back from that, to add humor and kind of a leveling element, was really my approach for the second, to kind of clown a little bit, do a few things like that, to add in to the little bit of aggression, the gun bars, the things that kind of I feel like the average person kind of caters to, but to just add more volume as far as variety of material goes and things of that nature. I think his second was his best round, and there was a very keen back and forth element with what he was doing with his schemes. Personally, like he had my favorite bars from him in that round. I won't approach that, if I'm getting the floor later. But yeah, his second was incredible.
Okay, fire. Noxx.
Yeah, the second was weird because I thought the first was going to be my craziest round. Like the way that I wrote it, like I even thought that it was too long, but it's just so weird how things play out when you actually start rapping. It's just like some things you just can't time. Like I even timed it beforehand. I really thought the first was going to be it, and then I heard how crazy his first was, and then in my head I was like, I got to make this second, like I really got to deliver this. So I think it was just in the moment, the way that I delivered it, because of seeing his first made it that good. And that for me, that's what hurts me a lot is I put so much energy into my rapping and performance that I'll lose energy or lose my breath sometimes, and it'll be like I know I could have delivered that round just in a better way. And the second, I feel like against him was, for me, it felt like it was one of my best rounds that I've had. It felt like one of my like up there with some of my rebuttal that and Z the dropout rounds. Like for me, everything felt just really smooth. But it really took his first to bring that out. And the thing is his second, I could tell it's like we had a complete different shift, because his first, he was on 11, and I was kind of delivering shit more smooth, trying to be a little different. And then his second, he kind of took a different approach. Started his second for me felt like one of the old school rounds I faced from like homeschool back in the day, or like it's one of the more like iBattle guys.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like an iBattle OG type of round. His second and third, he
Damn.
started to break down my character, try to get into those pockets. So it was like I do think I won the second just because how heavy it was, but I think it was honestly just because of the style shift, the energy kind of like that was where I kind of upped my energy and he lowered it a little. So it's hard to win a round like I had when you combat that round with a more like angle heavy round, unless that angle's just insanity. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to beat a punch heavy round with an angle round. So, you know, I feel like again, it's just both rounds again are just great. You know, me back and forth. It's a great battle. So
yeah,
you know, that's what I
agreed. Agreed. Chris Tex, talk to us about your impression of the second round.
So I'll start with Mutt. I love the comedic approach. I think when we were watching this live, Frank, we talked about it. Like, man, if he adds this to his repertoire, that's gonna be crazy. And it's funny.
Yeah.
I think in the I don't want to jump too much, but in the third, you know, Noxx mentioned the Temu Real Sick, and Real Sick kind of was similar to Mutt, his style, and then he brought humor in later on, and then it was kind of over after that. He's kind of been unstoppable ever since. So I was super excited to see Mutt kind of take that route, you know, with the impersonations and you know, rapping the way, you know, trying to rap the way Noxx raps. The AR, like you said, scaring the. I love that entire approach. I do feel like the second was a momentum changer for Noxx, similar to what Noxx just said about himself. I think the way he delivered that round, it was flawless. You know, the back-to-back punching is something that we're used to with Noxx, you know, for forever. You know, that's just kind of, you know, his style. And I feel like it worked. And I do think the second was Noxx's best round and one of the best rounds of the entire battle. I know we'll get into who we have winning that round later, but Noxx kind of went with that approach and kind of matched that delivery. And really, like you said, Mutt's first was so good, it kind of brought out that delivery from Noxx. He had no choice to really deliver it like that, all the punches back to back. But overall, I really appreciate you know, Mutt's bringing the comedic, the comic relief. It's something that I'm not used to with him. You know, he might have a bar or two in there that's funny. You know, when I was back listening to him on Spaces battles, you know, I've been a fan for a while, Mutt, you know, but but yeah, it was nice to see, and Noxx, you know, just did what he always does and just went crazy in that second.
Yes, indeed. Well, now we get to who won the round. Noxx expressed that he felt he won the round, so I'll go to Legit. Legit, how you feel?
Yeah, so like this is definitely very much so a preference round. Like I look at a lot of different aspects. Like it's not always who gets the most reaction that wins. It's not even always punch count. I do feel like I was more direct. I feel like the character breakdowns definitely held their weight, and I had punches. I mean, I might have had a couple dry spots as well, but I had the punches and I had the things to match his level. But personally, his punch count and a couple of the moments that he had, I don't even know if we were jumping into quotables or not, but the fucking y'all call him legit, look like he lying to me, where he's dead on the street.
Crazy.
That shit was fucking insane. There were certain elements of his second where I said, like I mean, I'm not mad at him winning that round. For real. I have him edging that round. I just personally feel like if we're looking at a lot of the things that people merit, like directness, like this is a preference round, and anybody having me winning that round, I don't think that's too far-fetched, even with his punch count. Because personally, I think that there were elements of like the pure rapping ability, the Christopher Nolan's plot that he scripted from Homer's Odyssey, like that type of shit. You know what I mean? And then the angle itself, you know what I mean? Put the AR and scaring the bitches, the whole Abercrombie and Fitch scheme that I had. I think like certain things like that, man, that like a lot of people are missing in battle rap because not a lot of people do it anymore. And him saying it was like an OG iBattle scheme, like I pride myself in that. That makes me proud of what I did, because that not necessarily that is what I was going for, but like I call myself a quick flash in the pan of like a disaster type of style, but also like an XQZ, a Dunch, and people like that I'm very influenced by. So like to be able to execute that to a point to where it was effective, I think is commendable in my own part. But yeah,
agreed.
I think it's 1-1 from my first to his second. For sure.
I absolutely hate 1-1s, but I think you might be right. Chris, where we at with it?
So I'm glad Mutt mentioned a little bit of a dry spot in the second, so I don't feel bad if I say it, because I had that written down. I did feel like there was a little bit of a dry spot, whereas with Noxx's round, it was just nonstop. I know we're not going to go through the quotables, but I wrote a lot down.
Hey, go ahead. If you got some stuff written down, go ahead.
Oh man, all right. So the Lex has been dying to give you this push. Too bad I got to him first. That was crazy. It's a paper chase Mutt. The dog ate my homework. First of all, something I would never do, like stroll through Compton, is hilarious.
So funny. Funny.
Yo, so funny. The halal beef, the not legit on the block announcement. It was just a lot from Noxx that round, and I had Noxx winning that round. Even though, like I said before, I really appreciate Mutt's approach and adding that to his style. I just thought it was a little bit too much from Noxx in the second. And like your favorite, Frank, I had a 1-1.
1-1 going into the third. Most cliche shit in the world, but it happens. So we got to acknowledge it. And I agree. I do think it was 1-1 going into the third. One thing I do want to highlight, though, when we did the face-off, one of the things Noxx pointed out was legit not adding enough swag to his rounds. And I think in the second, he kind of displayed that and showed that like he can incorporate his personality, and the delivery was effective. And you did a lot. It's one of those weird rounds where it's like one opponent did a lot, but the other opponent did it quicker and like more back to back. So you're left with a certain impression because of the approach, not because necessarily either opponent lacked in anything. Y'all both did exactly what you should have done in the second. It's just that the back-to-back style leaves that impression that, okay, this person wins the round. And but y'all both did fantastic in that second. I enjoyed up to this point in the battle. I'm just like, y'all delivered. Y'all sold us on the battle and y'all delivered. And it's very enjoyable. And it is a preference thing, because you could have somebody who prefers the style that Legituhmutt took. And it definitely reminded me of old school iBattle rounds. So it's crazy that you pointed that out, Noxx. Very in tune. So now we get to the decider. We are now at the third round. At some point here, somebody has to say something that's not nice. So round three. Round three is interesting. I didn't write any quotables down for round three, but what I do want to talk about is cleanliness. Cleanliness is unfortunately a very big deal in battle rap. And one thing that is difficult for those of you who can rap layered, complex material, it is inevitable that you're going to stumble over a word, that you're going to have a hard time retaining so much information, or there's adrenaline, there's somebody could be smoking next to you, the lights could be super bright and warm and it's throwing you off. You could have not ate that day. Salute the math Hoffa. You know how people get when they don't eat. But anything can throw you off when you have that level of material, and it's dense and it's a lot to remember and to verbalize in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the competition. So I always give a little bit of grace to the people who have a dense layer. Like if you're Charlie Clips and you stumble, I don't give a shit. But if you're someone who raps as dense, salute to Charlie Clips, he's a legend. I'm just joking. But
you're not okay.
But I'm serious too. But as someone whose materials is dense and whose writing is as complex and layered, and the level of difficulty to execute the style in which Legituhmutt raps, I have to give a little bit of grace for cleanliness. With all of that said, I want to hear y'all thoughts on the third round. I'm going to start with Noxx. Noxx, how do you call the third? And what was your impression of the third?
The third, it really I feel like was just debatable again, just like a lot of the battle. I'm not even just saying that. This was one of my more debatable battles, I think. So the third, it really came down to, again, how you view cleanliness, and then the approaches, because every round were just so different. But I feel like I was happy with what I did because I've been trying to make my rounds more concise lately. And when I first came in, I was just a completely different battler. Like, not only were my setups trash, but my rounds were a lot of times just so long, and I would or my setups would just be like talking about random shit and then come back like. And now, like, I realize that efficiency matters, and sometimes, like, and most of the time, dudes aren't gonna watch the full rounds on YouTube, so they're just gonna go in, look at a few moments, or watch maybe half the battle. So I'm trying to make it so people can watch the whole round. So I mean, I really think it was just heavily debatable. So I felt good about how I did. So I just leave it up to you guys.
Very smart, very political. Good job. Legit. Where we at with it?
So I think I won the third round, and I'll say why.
I'll
Ah, there we go.
Period. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
I like what Noxx did. I personally was expecting kind of a heavier round from him. I expected a little more quotables. I expected like a few more bars personally. I don't think any round is any round to kind of like take off. I expected kind of like each round to be a little closer to 4 or 5 because I watched him and Febo and that's what they did. Not saying that that's a complete like way to dictate the direction for it to go, but he had like a 3-minute round, and I ain't gonna lie, bro, my fucking third was like 8 minutes. I didn't expect it to even go that long, but when I like go back and watch it, I feel like it's cohesive enough to see each moment that is branched into for even if there ain't crazy reaction, I don't think it was too dry of a round. I had the, if we're doing bar breakdowns, I had the 30s angle that I feel like kind of answered what he did kind of perfectly. It went into the autobiography haymaker. I did have the 10-second issue, like of a slight stumble, but like if you're looking at 8 minutes versus 3 and there's 1 10-second stumble, I don't think you can really merit that against somebody too much, because it was also like not to make excuses for it at all, but it was a scheme that sounded similar from my first, which also threw me off. It was the same scheme from my first, which threw me off in my third. And I still branched it out really well. To be honest, the first 5 bars were all punches that the hands talk for every action, like portraying a pantomime, to the Consuela from Family Guy bar, like all of that was straight bars. And that was some shit I threw in from a space battle, and then I threw in the space bar type to show a gap in the writing, that type of shit. Like, I feel like it was layered enough, and then there were schemes, there were angles, the whole approach, even the soup kitchen other guys bar at the very fucking end with Dirty Mike and the boy, that whole shit. Like, from start to finish, there's really a lot of crazy layered fucking bars in my third. And we can merit the stumble against me, you know what I mean, where it adds, but where it took away from my material, I don't think there's a whole lot to say in that regard, because it was still, I had the wherewithal and the capacity to completely have the rest of that shit memorized and not fuck up at all. So with 8 minutes versus 3. And I think that he was more efficient on timing, but as far as a more impactful round, without the duration or any of that involved, I think I got more reaction as well. If we're looking at impactful bars and directness. So I think I won the third personally.
Well, here's one thing I could say, or two
Go
things.
Right back, Noxx.
The first thing is, like, I don't think, and this is just how I viewed it, and just from being in the sport, how I've seen it viewed, I don't think an 8-minute round is a good thing. So unless it's a battle where exclusively they say either unlimited rounds or they want it to be long rounds, which wasn't said. So I don't think an 8-minute round is something that he wins that round because of that. And another thing that I think with my third is
not the timing.
With the third round is a lot of the audience that was there, pretty much everybody actually was new iBattle fans. And I had a lot of shit in my third that was tailored specifically for people who had to been here. I had like just for my text bar, for example, which would have been one of my biggest haymakers. Nobody in that room knew who Tex was. That's how new the audience was, and I knew.
Oh, do you talk about the attachment bar? That was
right
crazy.
When I spit it, I looked to the crowd, and I just knew they didn't know who he was, and I was just like, damn. And even my intro too, which was talking about Lex and how he kind of vetoed the him being in the crew, that would have just hit more in an iBattle crowd, really, like an older iBattle crowd, that, or not even that old, just people that have been here. So
more in tune. Yeah,
there was a few things there too.
Can't always count on that though.
So I feel like there was some substance that I had that, regardless of the reaction, I'm saying I feel like some people could have liked a lot. So, and again, I don't think anybody's really going to watch an 8-minute round. I would struggle to believe more than a few people. And I'm not saying that like his round was bad. I'm just saying not more than a few people are going to watch that round fully, along with the whole battle.
Okay.
Probably in general.
Okay.
I'm going to probably be a handful of people, if we're going to be honest.
Okay.
And that goes for a lot of rounds. But when you have an 8-minute round, they're only going to watch probably 3 minutes of your round anyway. So the thing is I don't think that's why I put that round as debatable. It's up to however you view battle rap and how you view time limits or cleanliness, et cetera. So that's why I view it like that.
Okay, I'm gonna let Chris go last on this specific point because I know he's gonna be like the tiebreaker of sorts. But so I'm gonna say this, Noxx. When each of y'all rap, I'm looking to y'all for what I like from y'all. You know what I'm saying? So Noxx, you rap, Legit, you rap, and then I just had to determine who won the round based on a couple factors. Noxx, you gave me what I needed. Legitimate, you gave me what I like from you. Now, Legit, you were unclean, so I took a point off for that. Noxx, your round was shorter than normal. I took a point off for that. So now I'm left with figuring out, okay, with those two things going against y'all, who wins this round? And there is something to be said. First of all, Legitimate, I like you because you rap long. You know what I'm saying? So when you're rapping long, I look to it. However, Noxx makes a good point. There is a threshold. There is a point where the listener is just kind of you drown them out because there's so much rapping that you're doing, and there's already been two other rounds that have been rapped, and it's difficult to sit and focus on an 8-minute round. Our attention spans are fried. We're you know what I mean? That's society's just fried our attention span, and especially when you're on the come up, especially when you're not the main event or the case, whatever the case may be, you're gonna lose the listener at some point. So what Noxx got out was good. What you got out was good, but I would definitely trim a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, because 8 minutes is OD. And at one point, I felt myself being like, "What the fuck? Why is he like? When is he gonna stop so that I can figure out who won the battle?" So that then became the small, and then of course the lack of cleanliness in the round, which happened twice. For me, it was like, okay, I have my winner because of these things, not because either one of y'all didn't rap well. I thought y'all both rapped well. I thought y'all both did y'all numbers, but the points that I counted against y'all had me with Noxx edging the third. So I had Noxx winning the second, edging the third, not because of what was happening in the battle, but these other factors. So, but with all of that said, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm wrong often. I did enjoy the battle a lot. Now I'm gonna let Chris Tex give y'all the real because I'm just a fan. So Tex, it's on you.
All right, so I'm gonna do like a whole
real quick. I thought that during the battle, actually, I was thinking this. I was like, if he and I know he's gonna make this adjustment, but I was thinking literally if he cut these rounds even a minute or two, I was like he could have cleared me for real. I was like, if his, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I was like, if he like even if the shit's good, sometimes it can become too much even. So it's like, I was like, if he cut this right here, I was like, he probably clear me. Like, exactly. So I could see in general, like what he's going to, I mean, he already turned into a different monster, but I could see after this too, that like, once you get that little, just cut it just a little, it's going to be clipped. Like, cause he's
got the personality in there. The delivery is there. The bars are incredible. Now him adding a little bit of more concise editing, it's over.
Like he was like one step away from being able to like 30 the battle, like, and like if he changed a couple things, And I was like, and I realized that, and I was like, shit, I gotta make sure I'm not lacking for real. Like
and he's dangerous, and which we knew going into the battle that this guy's super dangerous. And to be fair, there are people who will still have him winning this battle.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I'm not the end all be all. There are people who will say I walk away from this feeling like legit won, including legit. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so definitely a debatable battle. I've seen on the timeline, I've seen people say Noxx won, see people say legit won. It's debatable for sure. Like Frank said, I'm not the be all end all at all. So we'll start with Noxx's third since Noxx went first. He had the 30s angle, making him 30s per day, you know, which I knew we were gonna get to eventually. So he had that. Did Lex really tell you to leave 30s, Mutt? Did that really happen?
No, that was fake.
That was fake. All right.
We're just gonna move on.
You listen to your commander, your owner's commands was insane, bar.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
he made me believe it was real with that though.
Whether angles are real or not, it doesn't matter as long as they hit it. So obviously, I wrote down, you know, with an attachment on the text, you would think it was Duchess. I thought that was so good. I've heard text bars. Noxx has a couple. That might be my favorite one. It was really good. When you bite the pavement, you can finally be the talk of the streets, right? To get in this bitch, I made call outs. It's mating seat. I love that. The Temu version of real sick. You know, it was a good solid round from Noxx. You know, all around. I know Frank mentioned it was a little bit short. You know, I didn't feel like it was too short, you know, maybe because Mutt's second was a little long and then his third was really long. So it kind of felt like Noxx's was short. But I don't know if it was I don't know what the contract was, 2:30s, 3 minutes, 3:30s. I have no idea what it was.
Oh, yeah.
There isn't one. There's not one.
Limited rounds, Chris. Now how do you feel?
You show up and rap.
All right, so getting into Mutt's third. I know you said that, you know, you countered the 30s angle that he had, but honestly, watching it, I don't know if I felt like that because you said it made it seem like I was never invited, but you just went against a whole round when he told you that you were invited. So I didn't feel like
I'm kind of going off on like some of the shit that Z the Dropout had to say and shit, saying like all of what I said was cap completely, but like there's more layers to it than just what he was saying in his round.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I did go into the I'd rather tell my own story, like an autobiography. All my life, bitch. I write for my love that.
I write for myself was great.
That was fire and probably my favorite part of the entire round. Yeah, the Lord Geo angle, which I'm sure Noxx is gonna get a couple more times.
Nasty business.
The Purely Deaf, right? Listen to Noxx, dope. And then I have here the stumble, right? Definitely not a choke, right? By all means, it was definitely a small stumble. And my issue with the stumble is not necessarily, obviously cleanliness matters, but to me, I felt like once you stumbled, you were kind of fighting the entire rest of the round to kind of get everybody back. That's how I felt to get that momentum back. You did keep going, you know, put the Noxx and Obnoxious. That was hilarious.
Funny as hell.
And at one point, it felt like another dry spot, and I wrote down, Mutt raps so fucking well. I didn't write a bar down because it was too much to type as I'm writing, as I'm listening to it. But he raps so fucking good with the multis and everything. It's just I also wrote right after that long-winded. And I, as someone who stood behind Sharon while Disaster rapped 25-minute rounds, standing up for an hour and 45 minutes. Obviously, this is nowhere near Disaster's round.
At all.
I want to start by saying that is not easy to do. Memorizing that much material and rapping the way you rap is not easy to do. And honestly, I have no idea how you do it. I have no idea how Diz does it. I have no idea how anybody that could rap that long does it, honestly. And it's impressive. But for the sake of the battle, it just felt a little long-winded and it felt like a little too much. And I feel like if you would have cut maybe like 2 minutes of material, it could have cut maybe a little dry spot out of there. And I feel like it would have made the third even more debatable, maybe even had you clear in the third.
Clear, yep.
And maybe even had you clear in the third, which will have me giving you the battle. But because of that, the cleanliness and trying to fight back with the momentum, I did get edged to Noxx in the third. I just felt like it was more efficient. And I had Noxx winning the battle 2-1, second and third. And I know this is not news to you, Mike. You know, I messaged you right after the battle. You know, we speak. But that's how I
Listen,
call it, and I'm not mad how if someone has Mutt winning. He's one of the best rappers on the roster. Period. So like I'm not mad at that take at all. It was a great battle, debatable battle. Me personally, not the be all end all. I had Noxx second and third.
Now I'm not gonna lie, gentlemen. It is very rare that battlers sell a fight, execute in the battle, and then we talk about it and rewatch it. This battle was so good, all three things happened. So y'all gotta give yourselves a pat on the back for that because this was a very good battle.
Facts.
High intensity, very competitive. Both y'all was rapping like y'all really wanted to win. That's what we love to see as fans. And I'm so glad we got to do the face-off. I'm so glad we got the battle. No shows because both of y'all have suffered from no shows.
Oh yeah.
This was a fantastic battle, which I'll go rewatch again, I'm sure. I want to say this: what advice do you have for each other? And then we want to know who y'all want to battle next.
Oh shit.
Because y'all know Chris Tex is plugged in now. Y'all say a word, they might like the battle in the night.
Shit, man.
you know,
Who's going first?
Let's let Legit go first since you done hogged up the wins tonight. Go ahead.
I bet. So yeah, man. Just phenomenal performance from Noxx. I think there's a few things I definitely need to work at. What's crazy is I was gonna like push for like closer to 3-minute rounds for this battle until I watched him and Fibo, and neither one of them really went for 8 minutes. I'll give it that, but like they were all like 5 to 6 minute rounds, and so like there's just different things to dictate, pacing and timing, and it's one to learn with regardless. Every battle is one to learn with. I know there's a few people that had very strong opinions that I would hold with the same weight as as Frank and Chris Tex.
I ain't nobody, brother. I ain't nobody. Don't ever forget. My opinion don't matter, but go ahead, please.
Oh no, your opinion does matter, man. It moves the culture forward. So like that is something I gotta say. It is kind of a split debatable at the end of the day, and I think we both did our numbers regardless. I will definitely be working at timing, pacing, and cutting out what I don't need moving forward. But yeah, as far as who I want to battle next, man, I never have a clear trajectory for that. People ask me that fucking question, like, who's your end all be all? I don't fucking have one, bro. I don't. I'm just out here to push my pen. That shit don't matter to me. Put me in front of anybody. But if it's someone that's stamped, like someone that Noxx has battled, like a Lou Castro or someone like that, I'll definitely do it. You know what I mean? I'll battle whoever for real. That's just what I'm here for. I'm here to push my pen, bro. And obviously, it just has to be one that makes sense. I ain't gonna battle somebody that just started. You know what I mean? It's got to be somebody that's gonna add layers to what I do and give me a real challenge. So, that's what it is.
I want you to know, legitimate, it's the other way around. I hold the utmost regard for you and other talents because y'all are the Shakespeares of our time. You understand? And I'm opinionated. I got a big ass mouth. That just, you know what I'm saying? But don't ever forget that I'm here for y'all. I'm here to see y'all work.
Absolutely.
I advocate with whatever minimal influence I have for people to tap into these battles because I'm a fan of y'all. So the praise goes one way and it's your way. And I'm proud of you. And I'm such a huge fan of yours that whatever next battle they announce of yours, we're going to be right back here doing a face-off. Whatever I can do to push you, I'm going to do it because I think you're incredible, and I feel the same way about Noxx, and I'm super appreciative of both of y'all. So trust me, the praise goes one way. But Noxx, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think Legitimate is incredible. Like, and the battle's probably a top 3 favorite battle of mine. So he probably right at third. So I feel like all he has to do is just cut some of that material, maybe shorten a couple setups, and he's gonna be just fucking insane. So one of my favorite battles ever, and I'm gonna be rewatching it a lot. So it was great. And for who I want to battle next, at this point, like it's Danny Myers. You know what I mean? Oh, I can't. I mean, how long is this? You know what I mean? That I've been waiting for this. Like it's Danny.
Years.
And I mean, it's been I can't say anybody else. I mean, it's Danny, and if it's an I battle name, it's fucking Preem or damn, Archduke or it's
Gotta be the top I battle
even
roster
even,
guy.
even the ones with Appa. So
Oh,
any three, I need. That's what I need.
respect. Chris, the floor is yours.
Nah, man. I mean, I'm not battling anybody, but Rosenberg, right? Vatafly. Nah, I'm just kidding. Name
No, let's go.
Nah, man. It was an excellent battle. I loved it watching it live. I loved it again on the rewatch, man. Salute to both of y'all. Mutt, I'm excited to see where your trajectory brings you because whether I have you winning or losing this battle, it was a great performance. So winning and losing really doesn't matter too much in battle rap as long as you give a great performance and you did that. So I'm excited to see what's next for you. What I battle names you're gonna get. Maybe a big name. I'm not sure, but I want to see you keep going up. And I believe that Lex is in your corner and everyone. You got the right people in your corner. And yeah, it should be a big 2026 for you as long as nobody backs out.
It always happen.
Noxx. I mean, I already have you at towards the top of the entire iBattle roster. So all the names that you just said on the iBattle roster, those got to happen, right? He's been one of the best on the iBattle roster for years now. So those battles definitely have to happen. And I've been waiting for you and Danny Myers for a couple of years now. So I'm sure that's going to happen. But salute to both of you. Both have great performances and a really good battle. Definitely a probably top 3 battle this year. I know the year is short, but really good battle, man. Salute to both of you.
100%. I want to say, gentlemen, you could find 2 people that have legitimate winning this battle in complete opposition to what either one of us has said. Battle rap is an opinionated sport, meaning everybody has an opinion. And no one's opinion is the definitive end all be all. What we all agree on is that y'all did not deserve to be ducked as much as y'all have been ducked. Y'all deserve to have y'all moment. Y'all showed up and took advantage of the opportunity. And no matter who you have winning, because wins and losses don't matter. Some of my favorites made a career out of losing battles. What matters is that y'all gave us a great battle, high replay value, highly competitive, great battle. And I salute both of you gentlemen. I'm rooting for both of you gentlemen. I know Chris is rooting for y'all. We can't wait to see what y'all do next. I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this. God bless y'all. And I don't know what's in the water in Oklahoma, but they created a monster. Salute.
Look out for Sean Gotta too. That's my dog, man.
Let's go. Salute everybody. Y'all have a good night. All right.
Respect, Brody. Appreciate you.
Peace.